Hi there. Today I wanted to talk to you about heart rate variability, otherwise known as HRV. What HRV is the variability that is in between your heartbeats. We know when you have a higher HRV, you're likely to be more mentally fit, more physically fit, and have a lower chance of being ill. When you have a lower HRV, you increase your mortality risks from things like heart attack, and you typically have higher stress levels. So did you know your Apple Watch can actually read your HRV? The jury is out if it's 100% effective, but it's certainly something that you can look at and go back and look at the day and the month and the year of see where your heart rate variability is. Typically, somebody who has an elite status of HRV tends to have a score of approximately 59 when you start to look at that. But there are ways that you can influence your HRV and you can practice. It's a skill that you can learn. And so one of the things that we do when we're doing neurofeedback is we start out with a software called the M-Wave, and it's from HeartMath Institute, where we put a sensor, a clip on your ear, and it's measuring your heart rate variability, and that feedback is going into the computer. When you increase your good or high coherence, the movie that you're watching or the jet ski that a child's, trying to move, moves quicker and does better. But the minute that you go into a lower heart rate variability, that jet ski slows down or the game does not progress. So how do you get a higher heart rate variability? You can begin by really making sure you're focusing on your breath, but the most important part is to actually focus on emotions such as joy, happiness, something that brings you happiness, joy, and lightness. And we often instruct patients to just close their eyes and consider just joy or happiness coming through their heart center. And the more you do this, just like the same thing as meditation or physical training, the more practice you get over time, the greater your heart rate variability will be. This is a new area that's really being looked at, and there's so much information that's coming out that when we can increase our heart rate variability, we have a better chance of being happier, living longer, and all that good stuff. So definitely consider taking a look at your Apple Watch. Another thing that we use for home units is, this is from the HeartMath Institute. It's called Inner Balance, and it's something that we have at the office if you'd like to get it. And it plugs into your iPhone, and you open up an app, and as you're breathing and focusing on something happy or something joyful, something you love, you'll move into a higher heart rate. So it teaches you, it's a practice that you can do to keep yourself in that higher heart rate variability. This is a tool that we have. It's a tool you have access to, and it can certainly be life-changing. Okay, that's all for today. Thanks for tuning in. Bye now. Hi there. Today I want to talk about a new study that was just put out in the Journal of Neurology. And what it showed is it showed that women specifically who are under a great amount of stress have higher levels of cortisol. And when the higher levels of cortisol actually cause impaired memory and changes in their brain. So more and more research is coming out showing us the effect that stress has not just on our body, but on our brain. So what can you do to combat it? Certainly, there are lots of things that you can do to reduce your stress. And during the holiday season, I know it's not easy, especially during the holiday season. But there are certain tools that you can use in order to improve your stress levels. You can try to pick up a meditation practice, and even meditating or just breathing for 5 minutes in the morning, setting your alarm just 5 minutes earlier, can make all the difference in the world, because it's the intention of sitting down and having time directly with yourself, by yourself, for 5 minutes. It's a way to set up your whole day for success. But we know that when you're stressed chronically, typically what it does is it creates an overactivity in the brain, an activity that's associated with almost a fight or flight response. Neurofeedback can be an effective tool to also use to decrease those fast brainwave patterns that become habitual over time. We all know those people who just can't turn off, right? Or you can't shut off your brain when it's time to go to sleep, or when you try to focus and concentrate, there's so many things going on in the background that it's hard to focus, right? So neurofeedback can be a training program to teach your brain not to stay in those high brainwave patterns, but rather move down into the more normalized ones. By doing that, we can decrease the amount of stress and decrease our cortisol levels, and that ultimately will help memory. Thanks for tuning in today. Until next time.